Welcome to the Joe Cortez Show here in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. The Sports Hall of Fame was in Nevada. Nevada is really a place that you can say there's so much to do here. They call it Sin City, so we stay away from that part. But it's a place that you can say we're here to make things happen, to find out how we can get started in life. But one of the things that I have today is a special individual by the name of Raquel Sharper. And she's a New Yorker, born and raised in New York, and been out in the West Coast here for a number of years. Raquel, welcome to the show.
Oh, Joe, thank you so much for having me on the show. And I love Vegas. It is definitely the place to be, and I do stay away from the sin also.
All right. Well, sometimes we say that this is a place to be because of there's so much happening here in Vegas. I know you're a motivational speaker. You're also a event specialist. You do so much, and I've met you on several occasions where you've been doing so much in the community. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days as your event specialist and as a motivational speaker? A lot of folks out there are looking for some guidance. Sometimes we all say, where do I go? We just moved to Vegas. Most of the folks out here are not even natives. Most of them, I would say maybe 80% of them are from out of state. So they come to Vegas, want a place they can settle down and do things. They're not really ready to retire so young, but they want to do other things. So we go to somebody like Raquel who will say, well, I'm here to help you and guide you in the right direction. What can you tell us about the first steps to take?
The first steps you take is actually just doing what you enjoy. You see, when I started off, I listened to my mom. My mom told me to be a computer programmer. I listened to my mom. Sometimes advice comes from good intention, but it's not actually what's meant for you. Mm-hmm. So I did computer programming for about a decade. Mm-hmm. And 9/11 happened, and basically New York shut down. And I worked for a consultant firm. And the only work that was out here was in Vegas. We had a short-term project, and I started to fly out to Vegas basically once a week from Monday through Friday. And that was my first experience in Vegas. It was work. Monday through Friday, I worked very long hours on a project, but I fell in love with Vegas. In February, it was like 80 degrees.
Right.
And I always vowed I would come back. And I said I would come back when I retired, but I came back way before retirement. And it's just following your dreams. And what happens is when you see your dream and the vision, you see it really big, but you have to chunk it down and make it into milestones and figure out how to start. And just applaud yourself every day. The gift is the day. The gift is the challenge. And we are the gift. So just going forward that way.
Well, you've always been a leader, an influencer in your field, and the people they need somebody to look up to, somebody that can guide them in the right direction. So you've been doing that pretty much so, and your words of you realize that you have your words as an influencer, and you now are guiding people in the right direction. What can you tell us about somebody like just moved into Vegas, looking to open up doors? What do you advise them to do?
Well, I advise people to network. Network is the hugest thing. How I met you, Joe, was through my network. Right. And part of the network is not just taking from it, but it's also giving. And actually exploring outside your comfort zone. I go hiking, didn't know how to hike, just started to hike and found a group of people. I just started to learn how to play tennis. I'm going to learn how to play golf. But every time you expose yourself to something new and productive, you're going to meet new and productive people. I met you through a circle of friends, and that circle of friends basically were doing, interviews. They were doing business events, and that's how I met you. And then we'd run into each other here and there because our networks were intertwined.
Right.
So it's not just going to the club and doing the Sin City things. It's getting out there and finding the people that you want in business.
Yeah, it's right. It's so important that, that individuals out there get to know the different groups. But they move to Vegas, they say, what groups are out there? How can they find groups? How can they reach out to you if they want to talk more about what they want to do? How can they reach you?
Well, they can reach out to me. I'm very easy to find. I am the only Raquel Sharper on Instagram and Facebook. So I'm very easy to find. You're welcome to follow me. I do answer my DMs, so if you have a question, you can DM me directly. I'm the one that mans that account. And the other thing is pay attention to what's going on in town, because right now is Cigar Week. There's a lot of people who smoke cigars for networking, right? And getting plugged into the local events that goes on, and going out of your comfort zone. You don't necessarily have to smoke cigars to be at a cigar event.
And that's for sure. But that's something that's more like the old time days. But people, there's a group of individuals that are cigar smokers. They're the cigar clubs. They go in there, have their whiskeys or whatever they have.
The bourbon, the however many years
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
And when they're sitting around talking about it, they're networking, and nobody boo-hoos if you're not smoking a cigar. It's just a place to meet and gather, and that's part of it. It's I actually went to a cigar event when the Grammys was in town, met a person, then actually made a business connection with them, and then actually connected them with other business people that I knew. Totally phenomenal. And it's like when you meet somebody, they know somebody.
Right.
And when you meet somebody, you know somebody that can help them.
Right.
So be a giver and approach it from a give, win-win mindset.
What advice can you give a younger self, younger folks out there that are looking to get started? I mean, you've been around the block, you know it all, you've done a lot. You're from the East Coast, the West Coast, you're traveling around, you're a motivational speaker. There's young folks that need some guidance. How can you, under the different groups that you give advice to an older group, there's advice you give to a younger group. What do you give to younger folks out there? Like myself.
Let
me start smoking my cigar.
There we go. Like ourselves, right? The younger selves, I would say, stop being afraid and just go and do it. There's actually at least two voices that we hear in our head. The cheerleader voice and the nemesis voice. The nemesis is going to give you all the reasons that you can't do it. Don't pay attention to that voice. Pay attention to the cheerleader voice. Go forward, fall flat on your face, get back up, learn the lesson, and go forward some more. Right. Just keep going, because if you don't do it, you're never going to do it.
Exactly. There's people have things inside of them. You have passion, and you have a passion to helping people out there. How do you get started with that? What made you be so passionate about yourself and helping others?
Well, it started off from, actually, I didn't have, my childhood was a little challenged because my sister, who was older than me, she actually became a drug addict, and she used to take care of me. So I saw a lot of things at a young age that I probably shouldn't have saw. But what I did seek out was I seeked out people who made me feel good. So I left the house and I went and hung out with my friends. And my friends, that they were having a lifestyle that I wanted. And I used that from what I learned as a little girl. Always seek out to be around people who are having the lifestyle that you want. If you can't be with them physically, read a book, follow their podcast, like Joe Cortez's podcast. There's so much information out there. It's so much easier than it was back in the day.
There's messages to give the world, and that's what we're doing right now. We're talking about a message. There's so much you can do out there. Some folks don't even believe in themselves. First, you have to love yourself to get yourself really started. If you don't believe in yourself, you're heading the wrong way. So how do you get people back on track to have confidence in themselves, to start believing in themselves, to get going in life?
Well, part of being in love with yourself is speaking positive to yourself. One of the things that I say, and it's a gift that my dad gave to me because my last name is Sharper, I say I am sharper. It's an affirmation. I am beautiful. I am handsome. I am a miracle. I am a lover. I am a giver. And you say those things. And when you say those things, say them with posture. It will give you energy. You cannot say those things to yourself in a loving energy and feel down.
Yeah, I want to do a checklist on that. You said one, you got to love yourself. You got to be
you got to love yourself, passionate, be a giver, be excited. It's a posture. If you think of somebody who's not having a good day, they're slumped over.
That's not the way to be.
Yeah, that's not the way to be. And if you meet somebody who's like that, you don't want to hang out with them. You want to hang out with the person
people
smiling,
who are lively,
excited.
Want to make things happen. People are really feel like very energetic.
Yes.
Be very I want to go now. Let me go. I want to get going.
Yes.
I wake up in the morning, I got to get things going. There's no stopping me today.
Yeah, and then when you're running and getting going, people are like, I want to attach myself. I want to go. I want to be there. When I meet people, they tell me, I love your energy.
That's it.
And I don't care if you're a waitress, a busboy, a CEO, millionaire, billionaire. I give the same energy to anybody because at any point in our life, we could be at any level.
Right.
And you never know who that person is what they are doing or what they're going to be doing.
Right.
Because everybody has a gift.
Everybody has a gift, and everybody they have to wake up sometime and realize that, you know what? I have to change my ways. These are not working right. There's something wrong. They listen to you and say, wow, what a positive individual. Look at Joe. Joe is ready to retire altogether, but no, I can't stop. I want to keep going.
No, you can't stop, Joe. You can't stop.
Because I got so much energy in me. There's so much that I want to do. The last chapter of my life is going to be the best one, I believe. So I mean, I got to keep going. I can't slow down. I got to keep going fast to make it happen. There's a lot of individuals out there that don't believe in themselves. You know, once you believe in yourself, the confidence level kicks in, the self-esteem kicks in. You feel good about everything when you feel very positive about what you're going to do in life. You can't say, this is the end, I can't make it, life is too tough. Other people, those negative thoughts, those people got to go a different direction. You can surround yourself with people who are positive, people who are loving, caring. And one of the things talking about loving and caring, that's something that's also needed in us every day. You have to feel like you're being loved, you like to be cared, but also be paid forward. You know, go out there and help people out who need help, people who you feel that can use a good hug every day, you know, or once in a while. I remember one day I went to a boys club in Indiana, in Bloomington, Indiana, and I was talking to these young kids, and everybody at the end, after I got to talking to about, because I'm a product of the Boys Club of New York myself, so I know starting to the Boys Club, what you go through is a difficult time, but then you adjust yourself to the groups that are around you, because you're at home, you don't go out, you don't have no TV or whatever, you're restricted from doing a lot of things. And like you said, parents sometimes are doing the wrong things, and sometimes or your siblings are doing the wrong thing, and you're surrounded with those people. But now you join the Boys Club, and you kind of open yourself up to be a different person. So when I went to Indiana to speak to the Boys Club, Boys and Girls Club, I met all these kids, talking to them. At the end, they all wanted my autograph on their shirts, on their baseball cap, on their sneaker. At the end, there was one kid at the end. I never forget this kid. And he came up to me, and I said, "Where you want an autograph?" He said, "Mr. Cortez, I don't want an autograph." I looked at him and I said, "What do you want?" He said, "All I want is a hug." You know? So, I hugged him and I choked up because I feel like, this kid, and I'm still trying to track him down. This was a good 10 years ago.
Right.
And he must have been about 10 or 12 years old back then. So I want to go back. That was after I got inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. A week later, I was in Indiana. I was speaking at Purdue University and the University of Indiana. I was speaking to the students there, but I wanted to go to a boys club as well. And I asked them, "Where's the boys club?" There's one in Bloomington. And that's where I went. That's where I got to meet these kids. But I'm a person, I like to reach out wherever I can find that I can help somebody. And that little kid, I made his day. But you know what? He made my life, because I talk about him every year. I could never forget that kid. And I will keep it. As a matter of fact, I want to create a T-shirt that says, "All I want is a hug."
Oh, that's so awesome. Hugs are so important.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's being that shining light of energy. Like before the pandemic, I used to travel like 20-ish days out the month, and I was only home 8 days. I had access to the Sky Club, I still do, and I was an executive club member, which means I could bring 2 people. And the reason I did that is because the team that used to travel with me when I would speak, if they didn't have status, I would say, "Come with me to the Sky Club," and we'd wait and we'd talk. Because the people that I worked with, I never treated them like they were like minions. I treated them like equals, right? But if I was traveling without my team, I would go to the gate where my plane was leaving, and I'd look around and I'd look for somebody like me. Classically, that would be like a single parent or somebody, and I'd say, "Hey, I know this might sound weird, but I have access to the Sky Club. It took me a while before I knew what the Sky Club was, but we've got a little bit of time before our flight. I invite you to come. You don't even have to talk to me. Once you get in, you'll enjoy free food, you'll enjoy free drink, you'll have a charging station wherever you sit. It's a great experience. Would you like to come?" 90% of the people would say yes.
Right.
10% would say no. And the 10%, they were just skeptical, unhappy people. But that 90%, once I was in New Orleans, and I was coming back from Essence, and I got to the gate, and they said it was a 2-hour delay. And there was this girl, and she was on the phone, and she was fuming. You could see the smoke coming out of her ears. And she was trying to find who was going to take care of her daughter, because she had to get home as a single parent. And she was fuming. And I walked up to her friend and I said, "Hey, I think you guys need the Sky Club." And the friend was like, "What's that?" I was like, "If you don't know, it's something that you want to know." And then when the friend got off the phone, I got them into the Sky Club. And I said to her, the booking of your flight, you walk right up to the people in the Sky Club. No lines, no waiting. The line to talk to the gate agent was like 50 people long.
Right.
And she's freaking out. And it was so funny because it was so quiet in the Sky Club. She wasn't going to be able to get home, but I did tell her, and most people would need to know this, if it's not a weather thing, the airline is supposed to give you a hotel. I told them that they were going to get a hotel, enjoy New Orleans for the night. And she was like, well, I got to call my boss, but it's too quiet in here. It doesn't even sound like I'm at the airport. If I walk out, will you wait? I said, no, they'll let you come back in. And to this day, me and her are still friends.
See that?
Yes.
That's good. I mean, it's important sometimes, but not many people out there like you that like to reach out to individuals. I mean, sometimes you walk up to somebody, a stranger, they think you're nuts. Who are you?
That is the most uncomfortable part for me. Is the most uncomfortable part is like walking up to them and they're like, who is this girl? And oh my gosh.
Yeah, but then once they get to talking with you, they say, okay,
Right.
wait a minute, let me listen to her a little bit. She sounds okay.
Yeah.
And then they open the doors, and before you know, you're good friends, you know. And that's what we need. We have to have confidence in meeting people. Sometimes you meet strangers, but sometimes strangers are the ones that are going to get you to the next level. You could become good friends, become like brothers and sisters or whatever, but you become good partners in life. You know, you can keep on moving along. I feel like in boxing, all the years I've been in boxing, I've met a lot of good people around the world, traveling around the world, refereeing championship fights. You meet strangers; they have different ways of living. They have you go to Indonesia, it's different than it is in New York City. Being a city boy like myself, but you go there and you kind of want to learn and the way people live in different parts of the world. So you get to learn different cultures and. Saying to yourself, you know, I've been to China, supposed to be communist China. I met people in China that were very wonderful people, you know.
Right.
I mean, I was there one day in China when I was leaving. This girl who was my interpreter, she was with us all day. Larry Hazard, a director of boxing in New York and New Jersey, myself, and a couple of individuals. They took us on a tour, the Great Wall of China. They took us to eat. It was a wonderful day. We were going to say goodbye at the end of the day. The Chinese girl told me, she said, you know, because I was talking about my daughters, how I am with my daughters, and in China it's a little different. And she told me at the end, she said, sir, you know, I just want to tell you that thank you so much for everything, but I wish I had a father like you. You know, when she said that, you know, that's another part of my life, things that I remember about. And you learn about different cultures, you know. So it's not that if you want to learn how it is in Italy, in France, in Russia, in China, in South America, it's good to learn all that because that gets you to realize and you see that everything is not happy-go-lucky for everybody, but you have to try to turn your life around and be positive about certain things. And I think meeting people, like you say yourself, you go up to somebody, complete stranger, and it could be something not too common, especially these days, but you have a good personality, you have a good smile on your face, and the energy that you give out to people, they can see that you're acceptable in their life. And before you know it, what you're doing. And that's why I wanted to invite you on the show because I knew that you had a personality and I know you're a go-getter when it comes to making people successful in life. And people want to listen to you. And I say that if they want to go to a shopper, Raquel Shopper,
Yes.
.com.
There is a RaquelSharper.com. There's an IamSharper.com. There is a BeSharperNow.com. There's GetPaidSpeaking.com because one of the most asked questions I get is, how do I become a speaker like you? And it's the most interesting part. I get it from people that are in Hollywood,
Right.
attorneys. It's insane, the amount of people. But it really all falls down to, like, if you're exuding that positive, loving energy, people just are attracted to you. So one of the things that I do here is anywhere that I am, I get a dinner. It's always can feed 3 or 4 people, but it's enough for one. I eat what I want, and then I put the rest in to go. And then on my way home, I typically run into a homeless person.
Right.
If everybody did that, like just put it in a to-go, when you're at a red light, hand the food, I will tell them what's in there. Most of the time, they're like, I don't even care. And they grab the food,
Sure.
and then they sit down and they eat.
Yeah.
And you gave them love for the day.
Exactly.
And that might be something that they needed because the world sometimes can be harsh and mean, but you might have given them that shining light.
Yeah, I one day was at a at a supermarket, and there was an older person in front of me, and she was putting stuff back in the cart, and because she didn't have enough money to pay for it. It was a couple of items that she didn't have, maybe another $10, $15 more. And that's why I said, no, don't put that in. Put it back on the guy. So she looked at me, I can't afford it. I said, no, I'm paying for it. I picked up the tab for the lady. I picked up the whole tab for her. The whole, there's something that you feel good about doing, but there's more. We need more people out there like that are willing to give and help out to get you need a helping hand, I always say, there's somebody out there they need some kind of a helping hand. Give them a good start. If I've been successful my whole life, why not pay it forward? That's what I enjoy doing.
It is. It's so incredible. And the reason that I'm sitting here next to you is because I met somebody who was a mentor of mine. I was reading the books, so I had the language, that positive language, so I can hang with them. It's about being prepared. Not all the mentors or all the people that are in a certain level are going to accept you along. But what you can do in the meantime is start reading those books. Because if you're showing them that you're on the level and that you have that mindset to hang with them, they'll rally, they'll bring you in, because once in their life, they started off just like you.
What is your favorite quote?
Oh, my favorite quote is, I am sharper. And what it means, actually, it means every day is the gift, but tomorrow you're going to be better. Today you're going to be better than yesterday. Sharper is a mindset. Sharp is a constant, like, hey, I'm sharp, right? But if you don't always stay sharp, then you become dull. We don't want that. We want to be sharper. Sharper is approaching every day with that zest. Just like you. You're young and you're vibrant. I know people that are older, because we discuss what happens with the younger people. But for like older people, you've got somebody like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett can say, I'm too old to learn about cryptocurrency. I'm too old to learn about this. He's like 90-something years old.
I spent hours with him. Him and I spent hours together. Me doing a special event we were doing, him and I and Floyd Mayweather. And I tell you, like he said, I want to take a photo with him. He said, no. He said, put me in a headlock. Put me in a headlock, Joe. I'm that kind of energy here. Put me in a headlock, and like giving me a punch. I got a beautiful picture of me and Warren Buffett. And I put words in there. Give me your money.
With the headlock, right?
Yeah, and he's worth over $80 billion,
Yeah, and the reason he's worth over $80 billion is because he wakes up every day, he decides that he's going to attack the day, he's going to be sharper, exactly. He is sharper, we are sharper. It's a mindset. He doesn't wake up and say, oh, I'm almost 90 and I can't do anything anymore. You have to wake up and stop thinking about what you can't do and think about what you can do.
Exactly. You got to think positive. I mean, there's so much that people want to do in life, and what's next for you in your career?
Well, what's next for me is I'm going to be diving into TikTok in the next month, and I'm going to be revamping my YouTube channel, and also I'm going to be teaching people how to speak, because I have a certain passion for doing certain things, but other people have a passion and a drive. So maybe somebody has a passion for helping pets. Maybe somebody has a passion for helping somebody in a foreign country. Maybe somebody has a passion for building low-income housing. I can't touch everybody, but what I can do, it's the few that change the many. But if the few go out and reach out to the few who want to change the few, we could spark a whole movement.
And I agree with you. I think that's good. That's a good thing to do, because I think that all of us out there need something. I'm always thinking about a way where we can. What's going on in the Ukraine right now, with Russia, and in other parts of the world. I mean, it's just terrible. It breaks my heart to see these people getting killed left and right. And then here in our country, we see the crimes that are going up every day. You see people getting shot all over the country. And I say to myself, what can we do? You gotta get these kids when they're young and try to break them in. I was thinking, I remember when I was a young kid, I joined the St. Martin's Nautical Cadets in New York, in the Bronx. And actually, it was Upper Manhattan, and I became a cadet in the Navy as a kid. And that helped me when I went into the Army. I mean, when I was 18 years old, I was already teaching the other soldiers how to march and how to use the rifles and whatnot, because I was taught that in a naval cadet as a youngster. We were in uniform, and we were very disciplined. We knew how to talk to adults and to treat people with respect and whatnot. And I think we need a little bit of that. Today, we have to get our kids. think it's some kind of a program where we have these kids in uniform and teach them discipline and teach them the right things in life to make them think about being a better individual in life. There's too many things out there going that are not good. I see too many parents that are not spending the proper time with their kids. I mean, you got to spend time with your children. Don't just throw them off at a neighbor or drop them off at the grandparents. You as an individual, as a parent, you put the kids into the world, you have a responsibility for them. You got to take them and show them the right track, the do's and don'ts. There's not enough of that out there. There's too much drinking, too much drugs out there. And the kids see a lot of this going on at home, and they pick up on it too. They think, they're doing it. So this is why we have to try to create some kind of a program. We have some kind of a cadet program out there that we can have all individuals from there, say maybe from the age of 8 to about 15. And then from there, you're working them, getting them on the right track, and hopefully they continue with their schooling, graduate high school, and then end up maybe going into the military themselves, We got to find some ways to help these kids and get them on the right track.
I agree with you 100%. There was a program back in Jersey City. It was called More Than a Race. And the gentleman, he was active politically. He was a campaign manager for the mayor in Jersey City. And he created this program to take urban youth, and day one, they would bring them to the jail, kind of like a Scared Straight type of thing.
Right.
And then day 2 and 3, they would take them to the country, kind of like a fresh air, so these kids would get to camp, and me and my daughter would help out with that movement. And we wouldn't go actually on the trip because it was actually geared towards helping young men, boys, but it's that type of thing. And if you are a single parent and you're feeling challenged and maybe the other parent isn't involved, do not get bogged down. Put your child in something. Put your child in cheerleading, gymnastics, some type of martial arts, racing, tennis, golf. Boxing! Oh my gosh, I have a friend. He started his son in boxing. He actually trains at Mayweather, and the kid is really good. But get your child involved. And then, once your child's involved in these programs, reach out to the other parent, because that parent thinks like you. And that parent will actually, hey, maybe the kid has to go to practice. My daughter used to be at practice all the time, 5 days a week. So you start talking to the other parent. Okay, I'll do Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Okay, I'll do Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And then sometimes we do sleepovers. I used to be back east, season pass holder for Great Adventure. I'd call up 4 or 5 other parents. I'd be like, get your kids tickets, because whenever I want to go, one year, I took the kids to Great Adventure 10 times. It's making the kids feel good. But as I'm hanging out with those kids, I'm learning those kids, I'm also teaching those kids. Because those kids are around my child, and I have to know your children's friends have influence over your child. And if they're not in a good home or in a good place, that's a downward spiral, which is a recipe for disaster, which is something I learned as a young child, because my home was not a good place to be. So I seeked out good homes to be at. Luckily, I had a good home to go to, several of them. Shout out to the people I used to hang out with back in the day. But that's something that I learned that I took with me as an adult. So even if there isn't a program right now, we should create one. You could start doing it now in baby form, but you have to get your child in something, not the iPad, not whatever video games are out there, something where they're interacting with another human. Business is made from humans interacting with humans, not being stuck in a computer or an iPad or an iPhone or a Samsung or whatever device you use.
Or drinking away, smoking away. Let's do positive things to help these kids and show them the right direction, how to get ahead in life, because there's not enough of that out there. We need parents out there that are motivated to get their family together and make sure that their children head in the right direction, because we need that today more than ever.
Definitely do. We definitely do. And it's interesting. It says just getting involved. When I got my daughter involved in gymnastics, I used to be in gymnastics as a kid, not competition. But when my daughter was learning how to do a cartwheel, I was like, I wonder if I could still do a cartwheel. I did a cartwheel. My daughter was like, yeah, I can do a cartwheel. I can still do a cartwheel. But it doesn't make a difference. I can still do a cartwheel. I'm 51. Think about that, right? Age is just a number.
You better believe that.
And I've seen Joe on the speed bag. He's killing it. I can't do the speed bag like you.
Hey, guys. We're so glad you joined us today for this special show with Raquel Sharper, and we'll see you again next week. God bless. Take care.